as a big part of it, and it's often really what we focus on is what we want to see on the ground. So the maps on the side, there's one that shows both blue and green routes that gives you an idea of the on-road network and the off-road network. And then there's also another one that shows different bikeway types, whether the city is planning on a bike lane, a local bicycle priority street, shared lane markings, or other types of improvements. So we really want to have feedback from you on this, whether you give it to us tonight by writing on the maps, whether you take a comment form home with you and fill it out and send it in, or whether you phone us or give us an email. We really would like to know, what do you think of the network? Have we missed something? Is there something you don't like in it? And what do you think are really what would you like to see done over the next few years right away? What are the really priority routes that you'd like to see the city achieve? Because we're going into the phase where we're trying to come up with a phasing plan, and we'd like to have your ideas on that to consider. This is a summary of what the bike network consists of. So there's a few assigned routes out there really to connect some key trail linkages that are proposed, 5 kilometers. The local bicycle street, or local bicycle priority street, about 40 kilometers of that. So that's going to connect you on a nice residential street across the city, through neighborhoods to get you from point A to point B without having to deal with higher traffic. There are some marked shared use lanes. This is that Shero symbol I talked about, the double chevron with the bicycle logo. 8 kilometers of that. One location is on King Street and Duke Street in the downtown. There's some paved shoulders in the city already. Some wide shared lanes that were constructed, for example, on Duke Street. There's about 28 kilometers of bike lanes out there now. That includes some of the region's bike lanes, and another 28 kilometers of bike lanes proposed in this plan, for a total of about 125 kilometers of improved routes in the city. Now, the cost of that might seem kind of high, $6 million, and I must say that doesn't include any of the freeway bridges that might need to be put in place to really make the network work well, because those are usually a really high cost item. But it is a long-term plan, and there are different funding sources I'll go over with you. The trails network, there's about 120 kilometers of trails out there now, and another 60 proposed. But I want you to know that there's another study coming up in the summer. It'll start, and that will look at that trail network in much greater detail than we were able to do in this study. So potential funding sources, just so you don't get scared off by $6 million, it's not all taxpayer. In new subdivisions, it would be through a subdivision agreement and paid for by the developer. So if they require future bike lanes on a collector road, then that would be as part of that development cost. In growth or intensification areas, for places where we are seeing more infill and in new growth areas, we have what are called development charges at the city. So to help pay for the cost of growth, whether it's water, sewer, roads, or bikeways, there's a cost that goes out to the developers for that. Of course, if it's on an existing road where there isn't any growth anticipated, then that would go through the Capital Works program, which is funded through the taxes. We've tried to really look at bikeways that can be implemented easily through pavement markings and not by widening roadways. So we've tried to look for the opportunities where we can use the roads that are out there now without a high cost of road widenings. Also in the future rapid transit corridors, we think it's very important that cycling is taken into account in that. So that would be a program that's sort of triple funded through city, provincial, and regional funding. And then finally, there are funds through other federal and provincial grants, often asking for matching funds from the city. The latest was, well, the gas tax transfers can be used for bikeways. Brantford used gas taxes to construct a new bridge over the Highway 403. The Ministry of Transportation has a Transportation Demand Management Fund, and they actually helped fund this study through that program. There's infrastructure renewal funding. I know that for, whether you're renovating a pool, you can use it also for trails. Toronto has 35 kilometers of trails that are being built on that to build bike lanes on Borden Street and Stone Road this year from that stimulus package. So there are other pockets of funding that can be used, and this report will go to council and ask them to approve it, and then the funding of it will be part of the annual budgeting process. So there's not really a commitment to fund this over 20 years, but it's bring this back on a yearly basis with all of the other budget considerations and provide funding for getting this network and programs and policies in place. So we're really here to find out your opinion on both the network and the policies. We're going to have the displays on the city's website shortly after today's meeting. So if you, today is Wednesday, so. Oh, they're on now? Okay. So if you want to share that with your friends and family, they can go there and download all the displays that you see here. We're going to try to go to council before summer with a report for them to review and approve. They may have some of their own modifications to that, so it will be a final draft report to them. And if you need more information, please contact Ron or myself, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you about some of the ideas in the plan. But we really want to hear from you. Have we missed anything? What do you think should be done first, both in terms of the network and in terms of the importance of the policy part of the cycling master plan? What would you like to see the city put their energies towards in terms of making it a more bicycle-friendly community? So that's the end of my presentation. So I'd like to take a few questions. We have clarifications, but I'd ask that you introduce yourself. And also, since we have a few people, I don't want to keep you up all night, if you can share the floor. So if you see someone else has their hand up and you have 2 or 3 questions, if you can kind of let everyone have their time and place to ask a question, and then we'll come back to try to get a few more in. And then finally, we will break to speak with you one-on-one and review the boards with you and take down any comments that you have here too. So we'll start. I'll repeat the questions